Hey, what's up, guys? Run a Bunch here, bringing you another installment of the most under the radar sports betting, sports talk show on YouTube. Guys, let's go ahead and get right into it. Uh, got a very busy episode for this Monday installment. We're into April now, guys, so March Madness is technically over, but we still have a national championship going on tonight. Excited to get into some of those picks, guys. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, guys, so my first picks of this evening reside in the NBA. I have one, two, three of them for you guys. So my first pick tonight is going to be the New York Knicks +6 versus the Brooklyn Nets. Now, this one I definitely wouldn't take right off the bat because the number is continuing to go up. This morning it was +4.5, and it's kind of been just slowly rising because people are taking Brooklyn because of the uncertainty around James Harden. I think people are expecting him to play, but we're not sure yet. He's still questionable. This is definitely one to watch as James Harden and Kevin Durant are out, but that could very well change. That could very well change this pick. So this is one that I like, kind of like last week I had an episode where I liked Houston with Christian Wood, but I liked the Nets without Christian Wood. Another situation here, I like the Nets with Harden or Durant, but I like the Knicks without Harden or Durant for the Nets. So, the stats behind this one, basically New York, as you can see right here, 25-25 overall, but they're 28-21-1 against the spread, as the Brooklyn Nets here are a much more impressive 34-16 overall, but a less impressive 24-26 against the spread. So, take this one. This is more of a late game time decision, but this game is at 7 p.m. So definitely research a little bit and make sure that Harden or Durant is out or in, and then make your picks off of that. All right, guys. So my second game of the evening is going to be the Utah Jazz -4.5 at the Dallas Mavericks. Now, it looks like in some places this line has been going up to 5. I would definitely try to get the 4.5 as long as you can. I guess people are taking Dallas. That's kind of why the number might be going up. But the Utah Jazz have basically just been a covering wagon all year, and they've been great for this show so far. As you can see right here, they're 38-11 overall, but they are an even more honestly impressive 31-17-1 against the spread, which is easily the best in the NBA. While Dallas right here, 27-21, definitely not a bad record, but not the Utah Jazz. And they're only 24-24 against the spread, which that's okay. But when you look further into the lines, they're 8-13 at home against the spread, which is not very good, and they're at home in this situation. I definitely look for the Jazz today to stay hot against a Mavs team that may or may not have Kristaps Porzingis. He's questionable. Once again, this is a 7:00 p.m. game, so we'll have to see what he does. Kristaps Porzingis, have to see whether he's questionable or not. But either way, I like the Utah Jazz in this scenario. All right, guys, so my final NBA pick for tonight, I like the Phoenix Suns and the Houston Rockets to go over 222 points. Let's go ahead and change this from the spread to the total. In some places, you're even getting 221.5. I would definitely try to get on that. I believe that's what I got it at, but most places it's 222. I like this one. I would honestly, the -14 for the Phoenix Suns is kind of enticing, but Christian Wood is playing, so that definitely scares me because the Rockets are a decent covering team when he plays, and 14 is a lot of points. So I'm a lot more comfortable in the situation taking the over. The Phoenix Suns have hit the over in their last 3 games, and those games have been blowouts. The Houston Rockets only score about 100 to 105 points per game, but the Suns have covered that 220 mark in all 3 of their last games, and all their opponents have scored either 108 or less. So they've been blowouts, and I just kind of feel like that will be the way that this goes tonight as well. So I like for Phoenix to stay hot on the over and cover that 222 number. All right, guys, so we're moving on from the NBA to Major League Baseball, the MLB. My first game for tonight is at 6:40, a little bit of an earlier game than most of these Major League Baseball games that I take, but I like this number a lot. I like the Cardinals and the Marlins to go over 8 runs. Now, reasoning for this, basically, obviously both teams are 1 and 2. As you can see here, the Cardinals are pitching Ponce de Leon, and the Marlins are pitching Rogers, which both of these pitchers have an ERA of either equivalent to 5 runs or more. So I expect a lot of runs to be scored in this game. And also, I mean, both teams relieving pitching, their bullpen is kind of average to below average. So I expect even more runs to be given after the starters go out. I expect, 5 or 6 innings from each starters, probably a couple earned runs there, and then the bullpen gets us over the 8 number. There's not a lot of data to back this up, but just looking at what both teams have started with from opening day to now, both teams definitely have the ability to score on offense, and both teams kind of lack in pitching, so I like this number a lot. All right, guys, so my second MLB game for this evening, this is the second of 3 that I have for you guys. I like the Tampa Bay Rays money line over the Boston Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox, I think the Red Sox are better than 0-3. I definitely think they had a weird, rough start the first 3 games of their season, especially losing to a team like the Orioles that really doesn't have a whole lot going for them. This is another divisional game for them. I don't really see them winning this first game. I think the Rays, sitting at 2-1, I think the Rays are a much more talented team than the Red Sox are. And I think the Red Sox are good. I just think the Rays are very good. I think the Red Sox will definitely bounce back from that 0-3 start, but I do think they will start even further in the hole at 0-4. This game's pretty even, and I definitely understand why. The Red Sox are at home, but in spring training, the Rays were also a very talented away team. So I like the Rays to extend their record to 3-1, and I do think the Red Sox will get out of this 0-4 hump that they will have themselves started in. They may even take a game from the Rays, but just unfortunate for Boston. It seemed to me like their pitching was really lackluster in the first 3 games, so I don't really see them turning it around against a much better Tampa Bay Rays team than the Baltimore Orioles. So I like the Rays this evening. All right, guys, so my last Major League Baseball pick for this evening is going to be the Chicago White Sox money line at the Seattle Mariners. Now, the Chicago White Sox started, I think this number is a little bit more even because of the records both these teams show right now. I definitely don't think the Mariners are that good of a team. I think they kind of sold their talented roster they had from a year or 2 ago, and I think they just have a ton of young players that aren't necessarily talent. I think that they're just kind of stuck, while the Chicago White Sox are a very talented team, and I like them despite the fact they started 1-3. I do think that they win this game. The Seattle Mariners are 2-1, but they played a lot less lackluster opponent. And, the White Sox, I believe, played the Los Angeles, or I guess, is it Anaheim? I'm not quite sure which one. Anyways, the Angels with Mike Trout, and they have a pretty talented team as well. So I think that 1-3 is a little bit skewed. It just feels like the White Sox will get the better of the Seattle Mariners. So I like the White Sox money line tonight. All right, guys, so I have just one NHL pick for you guys tonight. This is a very popular theme for me, it seems like, but I am taking the Winnipeg Jets -1.5 versus the Ottawa Senators. Now, 2 Canadian teams here playing against each other. Typically, it seems like the Canadian teams are down in the last year or 2 in terms of hockey, but Winnipeg's got off to a strong start, and I don't really trust Ottawa to do much here. The Jets we've picked a few times on the show, and I think so far with me picking them, I think we're 2-1. So I like to go 3-1 here. The Senators, as you can see right here, 13-21-4, which is pretty pitiful. The Jets are at home, 22-13-3. There's no value on the money line because the Jets are such favorites here. The best value is -200, which means you only get like half of what you bet, so that's not even really worth a whole lot. I definitely think there's a lot more value on the -1.5. So, if you're feeling it, definitely take that. I am feeling the Jets get a huge win tonight. I'm even thinking maybe 2 or 3 goals for sure. So the Jets are definitely a team for you guys to look at this evening in the NHL. Now, guys, this is the last game of the show, and I think it's only fitting that it's college basketball because this is going to be the last game of college basketball. This is the national championship. What a Final Four weekend we had with the Gonzaga buzzer beater. Gonzaga definitely looked definitely vulnerable to me, and Baylor really took care of Houston, which I thought was a very impressive win for them. That was probably their best played all-around defensive, offensive game, probably of the tournament so far, honestly. I wouldn't say season necessarily, but definitely of the tournament so far. Now, the spread on this one, Gonzaga started out as a big favorite at -5, and that's gone down slightly. I took Baylor earlier in the weekend at +5, but guys, I would take Baylor at +4.5 again. I do think this will be a within the 3-point game. I don't necessarily think Baylor's going to win. I mean, I kind of do, but also Gonzaga has just been so good all year, and I don't know. I feel like UCLA was going to be the game that they were going to lose if they were going to lose, and they haven't done it. And they're here at the national championship, and it just kind of feels like maybe that this is the year. But if there's any team that I like to beat Gonzaga from, November to now, it's been Baylor. And Baylor looks like the Baylor we saw back in December and January, not the one we saw in February that had the 3 weeks off from COVID. Jared Butler, they all look really hot right now. They look good. I mean, it's going to be tough. I'm definitely taking Baylor +4.5, guys. I think this could be a 3-point game. I think we could see some theatrics similar to, 2017 type, going into the final 10 seconds or so. Someone makes a big clutch shot. This one could really go either way. Now, I will tell you guys real quick because obviously, I'm here to try to help steer you guys in the right direction. There is a promotion going on right now on DraftKings. Hopefully it is still up this evening, but they have flipped the underdog. They have odds boosted, so you can get, basically it's +100 odds, so you can get whatever you bet. You can make that in profit. So if you bet $5, you would make $5. If you bet $10, you would make $10. 100. I don't know if it goes up to 100 or not, but I know it's like they put max on those things. But they flipped the underdog to Gonzaga, so they have a Gonzaga +4.5 spread that I would definitely jump on as well. I went ahead and sprinkled a little $10 on that just to make a little $10. I definitely don't think Gonzaga will lose by more than 4.5, but Baylor could come out hot and maybe surprise a lot of people. But I definitely think Baylor +5 that I got earlier in the weekend is a great move. And then I think the +4.5 is also a solid move as well. And guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. A lot of good picks for you guys. Had a nice weekend to kind of, rest up and, get my mind right in terms of making these picks. We had a tough Wednesday outing. I'd like to apologize for not making an episode on Friday, but had some things come up. Had to be out of the house on Friday and just really didn't have any time to actually sit down and make one of these. So apologies for that, but typical routine, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We will be back. And also I would like to announce that I am shutting down the lock of the day or lock of the night. I just feel like there was too much, bad vibes, bad juju going on with that. It seemed like typically, especially in the last few picks, it almost felt like every pick was hitting but the lock of the day. So I'm hoping that for you guys and for myself, that if we cut that out, that hopefully that will give us more like 4-0 and 5-0 nights instead of 4-1 and 5-1, because as much as as this is calculated, there's still some luck to it. And so I'm trying to get as much good vibes and good juju going for this show. So that is no longer a thing. I'm going to end that. I don't think it was really working the way I was hoping it would work, but that's okay. Sometimes things happen and things come up. So Guys, I just want to thank you for watching the show. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I appreciate you guys who are watching every day. It's been a lot of fun so far. I'm excited to continue and hopefully get some new things going on. I have a lot of exciting ideas for the future. So yeah, guys, just like this video, subscribe if you're new. Make sure you guys get notifications for these videos. Like I said, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, typically before 5 p.m. I pick late games, and sometimes I'll even pick games for the next day. But yeah, guys, other than that, thank you, and cue the outro.